The Malt Liquor Project looks at Colt 45. Malt liquor, introduced in 1963. 5.6% alcohol, best by July 4th, 2016. Ooh, it's so fresh. G. Heilemann Brewing Company, acquired by Stroh's Brewing Company in 1996, acquired by Pabst Brewing Company in 1999. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Okay, 18-ounce bottle. Let's see here. '07. That's brewed in where? Albany, Georgia. I think '04 is Fort Worth, Texas. Okay. I have some crawfish bisque. I gotta eat something. I cannot go until 1 o'clock on Easter Sunday without eating. Sorry, folks. So we got the crawfish bisque. Thank you, Miss Dolores. It needs a little salt, though. Old people, you know, they don't put salt because kind of the anti-salt propaganda that's been going around for some time now. People think salt's gonna kill them. Okay, got some black pepper. Yeah, I need to put some hot sauce in this. Oh! I need to get that butter out because I'm definitely going to need a slice of bread to sop up the residue. It is not chilly at all. I'm just wearing this because of the prop purposes. You know, I got to wear every single Lions cap with every single shirt, and if I do Major League Baseball, it's the same old ritualistic behavior. So, Colt 45 double malt liquor. Well, I can buy that at Circle K on Broadway Avenue in St. Louis. That's about the only place I know, and maybe in Detroit. But I'm 50th anniversary can, the regular can, the original Colt 45 8.5% alcohol high gravity can, the new Colt 45 8.5% high gravity can, not sold in Louisiana. Sold in Louisiana. Okay, go to Canada. It's like a different ABV. Like every single American beer in Canada, nice hiss, is a different ABV. Ooh. So this beer, this malt liquor lager beer, has been on the market since 1963 and was introduced by National Brewing of Baltimore, Maryland. Okay. The producers of National Bohemian. May as well. The people that made this, National Bohemian, okay, which was on the market since 1885. And if you ever see Natty Bo Ice, National Bohemian Ice, you might be on TV. But of course I had to buy that 6-pack. But they wanted to make a malt liquor, and if you notice these, and I already prayed, here we are on Easter Sunday. So hot. I had some Malt-O-Meal cereal for breakfast, and we're going to Easter dinner at 1 o'clock. I cannot make it till 1 without eating. I just cannot do it. They cannot directly reference alcohol strength in beers. So what the companies did was, when they wanted to make extra strong beers starting in the 1940s with originally Clicks, malt liquor. And then I think it was 1946, 47, and also in the 40s, maybe in the 30s, but we know in the 40s they came out with Old English 800, Old English 600 brand stout malt liquor, which in 1964 morphed into Old English 800 brand malt liquor. And then in 1951 with Country Club. I've got it somewhere around here. They couldn't directly address the alcohol, so what they did was they say stuff like more of what you're looking for when you have a beer, things like that, and they adopted generally like tough, like manly iconography, you know, and labels like a Colt 45 with a bucking bronco and a gun. You know, you shoot people, you get drunk, you go berserk in downtown Baltimore, and you shoot people with a Colt 45 pistol. No, but that's obviously not going to pass inspection when they certify the label. The U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms actually has to certify. One of their agencies has to certify the label, and so what National Brewing did is they came up with this like legal fiction where they said, oh, this beer, Colt 45, is named after number 45 for the Baltimore Colts. Okay, sure. And the government said, oh, okay. But in reality, it's what you know it is. And so Schlitz came out with the Bull, the Raging Bull, and Magnum, okay, Magnum, right? So from Miller, and so on and so on. It's in Hurricane, you know, it's all power. Power connotes power. What's the power? The alcohol, right? Not, you know, and you look carefully at all these advertisements, they're all saying the same thing without directly saying it. Well, at 5.6% alcohol, that's right there with Mickey's Fine Malt Liquor from 1962, by the way, with the Fighting Hornet boxing gloves. Get it? It's the same idea. But this is about the smoothest thing you ever want to drink. Smells like beer, because that's what it is. Tastes like beer, but it's clean. You know, it's clean, it's refreshing, it's easygoing. It's a medium-bodied, light to medium-bodied beer. Crisp. Has some character. There's no off flavors or aromas. After Pabst made their blockbuster deal with Miller in 1999, Miller was not allowed to buy Pabst Brewing, I think because of antitrust regulations. So they arranged it where, no, Miller does not own Pabst. But what Pabst did was they turned over all their breweries to Miller, or many of the breweries. The rest they sold off, like City Brewing in La Crosse, and the Schlitz Brewery in Memphis. They sold that to City Brewing. Which I might add has a very curious relationship to Pabst. No, they're not owned by Pabst, apparently, supposedly, theoretically. City Brewing in Latrobe, Wisconsin, Latrobe, Pennsylvania, Memphis, Tennessee, and La Crosse, Wisconsin, brew many Pabst beers, not to mention lots of other companies' beers like Sapporo and Guinness. So And they brew the special export from Heilemann, Pabst, and a lot of other stuff they admitted. The Pabst Old Tankard Ale. So it's hard to follow like who really owns what, and you know, maybe technically Pabst doesn't own City Brewing. They just might have like a major stake in it. I couldn't get a straight answer when I wrote an email to City Brewing a few years ago. They were like, yeah, well, get lost, basically. Like, we don't really want to get into all that. All right, anyway, but back to the original story. Miller began to brew most of the Pabst beers according to a carefully controlled process. In other words, you know, Pabst brewmasters are going out to the Miller breweries and making sure they're doing it right according to their time-honored recipes. I'm pretty sure Miller Brewing Company, who's now owned by Coors, I'm pretty sure if you give them a recipe, they're going to get it about 100% out of 100% correct. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to do it wrong. So don't think that there's a Pabst brewmaster watching, you know, like, are you doing this Colt 45 double malt correctly? Do you have, I mean, they're going to do it right, okay? So, you know, don't worry. And that's the reason for the whole combination, because these guys can do it. And Pabst actually had some problems at their own breweries. They had some labor issues, and there might have been some sabotage going on, frankly. I bought a Pabst Blue Ribbon beer in 1996 or 7. And when I poured it out, there was a rubber tab in it. Like a piece of rubber coming out the can. I was like, what's going on over at this company? And I don't want to get into all this labor versus management or free enterprise versus socialism thing, but it was kind of like Schlitz in 1982. The union wanted to play hardball and said, if we don't get these demands met, we are going to shut this place down. And Schlitz basically said, don't worry about that. We're going to shut it down ourselves, and we're going to sell out. And you won't have to worry about, you know, demanding what you want for your job. You won't have a job. And, you know, the union bosses got their money because that's... All right, enough of that. All right. Why it exists in the first place, to pad their pocketbooks off the backs of the common man. But, we don't want to expose certain criminal enterprise. But anyway, so it's working very well now with Pabst and Miller and Coors because they have this big conglomeration. The government is not on their backs. If anything, the U.S. government is in cahoots to an extent, you know. And I have a lot of like big-time union friends on Facebook and YouTube, so I don't want to, you know, really get into that. I don't have a big axe to grind anyway. I'm just observing and making commentary. Everybody can express their opinion. No, I don't have a Bernie sign hanging up, but you get a lot of people that's like really hot to jump up and talk politics, and then when you perhaps disagree in some way, you know, form or fashion, they get extremely furious and they won't interact anymore. It's like, wait a minute, you started the fire, but you don't like heat? If you don't like heat, why are you starting fires, right? So, but left wing, right wing, middle wing, back to this, it should be all about having a good time. We don't all agree on politics, we don't all agree on religion, we don't all agree on Beatles albums, not to mention the Rolling Stones, but these kind of things, the malt liquor style of beer and the malt liquor project should be bringing people together. So let's try to do more talking and hanging out and drinking, you know, obviously responsibly, and do less hating and fussing and fighting. like the Beatles said, enough fussing and fighting. So Laissez les Bon Temps Roulé. I'm not rating it. This is not a beer review. This is just a project. Yeah. You know I'm going to be drinking more Colt 45 and Colt 45 High Gravity and Colt 45 Double Malt Liquor and not Colt 45 Blast. You know, because oh, no, it's all a bunch of...